Alright people, Mike Salden here again. Welcome back to some more Baldur's Gate 3. I think this is day 7, day 6, day 7, something like that. I'll put the correct day in the title anyway. But today I decided to finish up this retrieve the shipment quest, which was when I was on my way to get Karlach. Originally, we ran into like a destroyed caravan with all these hyenas right next to it, and we picked up a quest to retrieve the contents of the shipment from this caravan that had been attacked. So I started heading up this hill to search for that, and I ran into these werewolf guys. They're not called werewolves, but I forget what they're actually called. But for some reason, the leader started speaking to Karlach. I think I might have cast a communicate with animals spell or something, and we were able to use our mind flare ability. They sort of tell this werewolf to go away or attack the people in the cave, because I was pretty sure these people in the cave that were up here when we arrived, they were probably the guys who stole the shipment or whatever, and then they just happened to get trapped by these hyenas and these werewolf guys. So we sent them in to attack while we managed to get left alone and kind of avoided what would have probably been a pretty hard battle. We did have to fight gnolls, that's what they're called. We did have to fight a few gnolls. I killed some of them here, but the rest of them, they decided to just do my bidding after I used the mind flare ability, and they killed the two guys in this cave. But to be honest, the two guys in the cave, we overheard them talking, and they were like, "Yeah, let's just hide in here and let those people out there deal with the gnolls or whatever." So after they were done killing those two guys, we had to convince them to leave us alone again, and that they should go just leave us alone now or whatever. So we came in here, and the shipment is in this locked chest over here. I misread the quest, and it's actually to retrieve the chest, but I broke into it. I did fail a few times here. I had to re-roll, and then I stole the contents of the chest, and that completed the quest. But also, it told me in the journal that because we broke the seal of the chest, there's no point returning it now to whoever actually owned it. Because I wanted to know why it completed. Because I had to return the stuff, but it said it's because I opened the chest. So I need to be more careful in future when reading quests. Because I kind of ended this quest a bit early, and the stuff in there probably isn't worth it that much to hang on to. Like, I should have read the quest more clearly and taken it to whoever needed it. Probably someone in Baldur's Gate somewhere. Hopefully they don't punish me later on. Show up, be like, "We know you stole our chest," and then I get into a massive fight in the middle of Baldur's Gate or something. Um, but yeah, I wandered around this cave for a while, stole some more stuff, or should I say liberated some more stuff, because I'm pretty sure the guys in this cave, they were running some sort of smuggling operation, or they were constantly stealing from caravans. So I didn't mind taking all this stuff away from them. Besides, they did die down there. The gnolls wiped them out. It'll be interesting when I replay this. If I side with those two guys instead, maybe it'll turn out differently. And I wasn't that happy about using the Mind Flare Parasite to overpower those werewolf guys or whatever, because I think it's going to turn out badly for me if I keep indulging in the Mind Flayer's power. It's like it's going to make it easier for it to take over me or something. But we'll see how it goes. On the way out of here, I noticed all these tripwires and stuff. So I'm thinking a good idea on a replay might be to lure all those hyenas and gnolls or whatever they are into this part of this cave, and try to get them to trigger the tripwires. I could maybe sneak past there and have them follow me, and then blow them up with all those explosive barrels or whatever. So a little way along the path from that cave, I found this character near this bridge. I was on my way over here because I wanted to do Lysel's quest, where we get in contact with her people, the Githyanki or whatever they're called. We saw a group of them down here trying to negotiate with these guards to get over this bridge, and then they just brought in a dragon and just like fire, like just flame everybody. And this Tiefling I was talking to just ran away because she was like, "This is a terrible idea." I tried to convince her to join us, but she just ran away. So I did go back over here. I was a bit wary of going over here because I could hear a dragon above us, and then this cutscene started playing, and basically Lazelle's fellow Githyanki or whatever they're called, they just brought in their dragon, just completely destroyed this bridge. I think that's the path to Baldur's Gate, like the main city. So that didn't seem to help us too much. This leader guy, he seems like a bit of an asshole. I immediately didn't like him, but Lazelle was like, we have to get over there and speak to them anyway, and we have to ask them about getting to the creche or whatever, so that we can get this cure for these mind flare parasites. And to be honest, I think Lazelle, she's probably going to turn out to be the only decent member of this army or whatever, and the rest of them are going to be kind of like completely like their interests are not going to align with my party's. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I think during this conversation, I sort of lie for Lizelle and sort of hide some stuff from this guy. Because he's looking for this weapon, this artifact that was on a ship, the ship we crashed on, I think. And we just pretend we don't have it. And we sort of signal to Lizelle here using our like mind reading powers or whatever that she should sort of lead him astray and sort of disguise the truth from him. Because this guy, he's really not interested in helping us. So yeah, I used a persuasion check here to command Lizelle to play along with my story here. And thankfully I like got a really good roll and I had a lot of like +1s and +2s and stuff. So that exceeded pretty easily and Lizelle went along with our deception here. And we were pretending like, yeah, we never found this artifact. We don't know what you're talking about really. So it's going to be interesting when we run into this guy again and we maybe reveal that we do have the artifact. Although I'm going to be trying not to side with these guys, whatever happens, even if Lizelle gets mad, because to be honest, that guy seemed like an asshole. So I just raided all the dead guys around here and then decided I would walk along this way. And I sort of got a warning at this gate that this was leading me to like an area that I can't return from. And it seemed like I was going to be advancing the game to Act 2. And it seemed a bit soon to do that because I hadn't resolved the Goblins versus the Emerald Grove conflict yet. So I was getting this like cutscene and this like vision or whatever. And it seemed like I was witnessing this tall elf who seems to be in my head or whatever. And again, they were mentioning this weapon that we need to search for or whatever, but I think we already have it, and it's that artifact. So this is the artifact here. It seemed scared by these people, and the narrator was saying the artifact doesn't want to leave your presence and all this stuff. So Lizelle had some stuff to say about that. She was a bit worried about these voices. So I selected this, and then it said this warning: your party's underleveled and you can't return from this area. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go that way yet. I still have all this goblin stuff to sort out. So I found where Saza was on the map, and then I ran over to her to finally infiltrate this goblin camp and see what's going on over there. So just skipping along to when we met Saza. Again, she sort of talked her way into the camp. And so we sort of bluffed these guys that, yeah, we're here to help the Goblin army or whatever. And we're on your side, and we're one of the chosen ones or the true ones or whatever they're called. So we were able to just get past these guys and just followed Saza into the camp. Again, I was sort of in two minds about like siding with the goblins or not. I found there was this bard guy that we spoke to earlier. He's been captured and being forced to perform. I come back for him later, but at the moment I was just interested in following Saza and just making sure that we like completely infiltrated this place correctly. Um, but when I got here, I decided that the goblins, I didn't really trust them or their leader. This Minratha character, I think her name is. They all seemed like pretty straightforwardly evil. I thought they were going to be a bit more nuanced than that, but again, this was a very surface level read of this first meeting with this character. Um, Saza actually betrayed us to this character. She tried to hand us over and say that we basically that we were traitors or whatever she was doing. I can't remember her exact dialogue, but the long and short of it is she tried to betray us. But I kind of liked Saza. I thought she was funny or whatever, so I kind of backed her up and saved her by pretending that she didn't know anything from the Emerald Grove. And Karlak approved of that, so I was pretty happy that I did that and stepped up and saved her because now Saza owes me another one. Even though I already helped her escape, she owes us again. Um, so basically, I told this Minratha or whatever her name is that yeah, we'll help you attack the Emerald Grove or whatever. Um, but I'm really not planning to. I'm planning to sabotage the goblins as much as possible. Karlak disapproved of this because they think I'm really doing it, but I'm really just bluffing her here. Um, so this was a reward I got from Saza. It was like a blade, some sort of enchanted dagger or whatever. So Karlak really wanted to speak to me. She was like, What do you think you're doing? This is crazy." And I'm just like, "I've got a plan. Don't worry." And she's like, "Oh, you better have a plan because I'm not going along with this." So yeah, absolutely not siding with the goblins if it means Karlak's gonna like leave our party or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna just get in with them now, find out who all their leaders are, assassinate the leaders, and sort of do whatever I can in this camp to sabotage the goblins. And then I'm gonna go over to the Emerald Grove where Minratha is waiting, or whatever her name is, with the goblin she ran off with, and hopefully we'll have an easier time putting her down once we get there. So this seemed to be another leader, this big devil goblin guy. He was trying to resurrect this mind flayer that he captured to ask them some questions about this artifact everybody's looking for. Um, so I think I got the questions wrong. I was asking random stuff that the big boss goblin guy he was not happy about. And he was thinking I was wasting my questions, and really I was trying to keep the information to myself that this mind flayer knew, because I thought it would be better not to let the goblins know too much about anything they wanted. And again, I was trying to sabotage them by like asking stupid questions. So I think I managed to persuade him that it was a mistake and that I'm a true soul and just relax and calm down or whatever. And I managed to get past that skill check. And he was like, "Yeah, no true soul would have messed this up. I guess it was just a mistake or whatever." So then the mind flayer, we got nothing else out of it. And this guy was pretty annoyed that we didn't learn anything about the weapon or the killer. And sort of Karlak approved of that. So I think we did a good job. Um, so eventually, I snuck around behind this guy, and up the stairs behind him, I found this treasure room. So I immediately snuck in there as Aztarian or whatever, and I found some infernal iron, a lot of gold, and some enchanted items. So I immediately just stole all of that, hoping this would sabotage the goblins a little. So that was fun, and I'm glad I've got some more infernal iron for the rest of Karlak's quest. I was wondering where I was going to find some of that. So I tried to close the gate, and this guy noticed me. What are you doing, touching it? So then I had to run away from him because he seemed annoyed that we were touching that stuff. But they didn't seem to notice that we'd stolen everything. So I found this goblin in this cage. He'd been locked up for refusing to follow this absolute religion or whatever it is. He sticks to the old goblin gods or whatever, and he's been locked up because of that. So I talked to him a little bit, got some background lore about goblins and their beliefs, and I found out this guy doesn't like the new leadership and their new worship of this absolute. So I decided I'm going to break this guy out. He might disrupt things around here, or maybe help me sabotage the goblins later. I failed the skill check, but I rolled again, and I think that I passed at that time. No, failed again, had to re-roll it again. This door really just didn't want to open. But yeah, I managed to disarm the trap that was on his door and then lockpick it. And thankfully that passed right away. And then we just opened the gate and let him out. And he was like, "Oh yeah, thanks for that. Well, I'm gonna run off before I get killed, and I appreciate the help." And we got some XP, and he just sort of ran off. Then I went to speak to this priestess goblin. She seemed to be one of the leaders that I needed to take out, but also we had a quest to get help from her. And I really didn't trust any of these goblins because even Saza, the one that I helped, she like immediately betrayed us. And that sort of showed me that these goblins, they're not really gonna be on your side, and you can't really trust any of them, no matter what they say. So I was speaking to her, trying to get some information about the Mind Flayer parasite, and I was like, okay, I'll let you help me, but I really didn't trust her that much. But it did let us take her off into this side room where we could speak privately. And I was like, this is going to be a good area to assassinate this goblin. So I did save. I spoke to her a bit more, and she wanted to take this potion or whatever, and it just seemed a bit dodgy. Um, so I just left her here for a while and went to do some other stuff. Because I didn't feel like taking that potion. I thought it would be a bad idea, and I just didn't trust any of these goblins. And I'd already started sabotaging them by letting one of them escape and sort of mess up the big red demon goblin guy's plan of speaking to the Mind Flayer. So I was already messing them up pretty badly, so I decided I wouldn't trust any of them. Came out and spoke to this merchant. I think they're a dwarf or something, or they might be a gnome or a halfling. Not quite sure. There's a lot of different races in this game. But yeah, they were basically here to sell stuff. I think they were actually a slave merchant too. Actually, they buy people from the goblins because they're like desperate to get rid of or to get out of here, so they come willingly and stuff like that. So this character seemed like a little bit of a scumbag, but I decided to trade with them anyway. Tried to enter this door, and these guys were like, "Yeah, you don't want to go in there, or you'll get blown up all the way to Baldur's Gate." So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of explosives or something in there. And it seemed like I might want to like break in there later and maybe use that to blow up this place. Uh, but we'll see how it goes. So I spoke to Saza again briefly, and she was just apologizing for everything she did. So Minrath was here. She was giving her speech to these goblins. They all charge off out of this place. I'm hoping I can catch up to them later and like maybe do some damage to them before they actually arrive at the Emerald Grove. I might have been making a mistake by talking to her so quickly. But yeah, I decided I would help this bard guy when I was out here. Spoke to this lady. She was back at the owlbear cave that I'd went to before. I still hadn't hunted down that owlbear. I just told them to come back here to the stronghold, and that's where they've been hanging out. So this bard guy from the Emerald Grove, I decided to have like a rhyming competition with him, just because it was funny and it gave me an opportunity to use some of my bard skills and show off a little. My character's meant to be like a smartass kind of because they are a bard and they do like getting involved in these situations. So yeah, I put in a line and then this impressed the goblins and they wanted him to do a better line and he kind of was messing it up. Uh, so that I think I put in another line, passed the skill check for that, and he was getting more and more worried because he couldn't come up with any good rhymes. Uh, I was a bit concerned that I was going to get him injured because I really didn't want to do that. I was just trying to have a bit of fun because I like to show off that I'm a better bard than these other bards. Um, so yeah, the goblin that owned him or whatever was getting annoyed that he was starting to stutter and mess up all his speech, all his rhyming and stuff. So I talked to her. I think oh yeah, she ran up and hit him here and knocked him over because he was doing such a bad job. And then she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take him back to his cage for the day because he's clearly messing up." So I followed them all the way back inside to her cage where she was keeping this guy. And then I decided there must be some way to convince her to let him go or to like steal the key off her or whatever. And I think I was like, "Your pet looks a bit sick or whatever." And then she was like, "Okay, take him for a run or something and see if that gets his strength back up." So this goblin didn't seem to be that smart. Yeah, I used deception. I think he looks a bit sick, and I managed to pass that skill check quite easily. And then yeah, she was like, "Okay, we'll let him out. Go take him for a run, get him all tired out, and maybe he'll feel better after that." So we let him out of the cage, and he thanked us for that. And basically, he said he was gonna get out of here now, and then we'd meet us back at our camp later. And I wasn't sure how he was gonna get past all the goblins and everything, but he was like, "Oh, don't worry, I've got like an invisibility potion, so I'm just gonna get out that way." And I was just like, yeah, asking him questions about how he was gonna get out and all. And then I just said, "Okay, go back to my camp, and I'll see you there later, and we'll complete that quest over there." But before I went back to camp, I wanted to do some more sabotaging of these goblins and just mess with them a little and like disrupt all their plans and stuff they were involved in. I came back outside just to check there wasn't anything I'd missed out here because I was looking at the objectives and I still had to find Haslin, the druid guy, and some other stuff I had to do around here. So I just went around speaking to some more goblins and just hoping that I would run into Haslin or whatever his name is. Spoke to this goblin. He was telling me to kiss his feet or whatever. And I turned that back around on him. I was like, actually, why don't you just kiss my feet because I'm more badass than you or whatever. Um, and yeah, he was just telling us, yeah, kiss my feet or whatever. And then Lizelle, I think, stepped in here and she was like, "Don't you dare do that or I'll beat your ass," basically. And then we were like, "No, how about you just kiss my feet?" And then I got the skill check for that. And I managed to like humiliate this guy and just make him kiss my feet. And Karlak approved. So I thought it was funny. And anything that gets Karlak's approval, that's kind of the path I like to go on. So yeah, passed another skill check where like I actually force him to do it. So then he kisses my foot, and I got more approval from Lizelle and Asterion, and kind of humiliated that guy. So I don't know if that's gonna have a problem for me later on. Maybe I run into that guy in a fight and he's like enraged because I made him do that, and it gives him some more strength or whatever. This goblin who saw the whole thing, he was like, "That was hilarious. I'm so happy you did that. Don't tell him I said that." Um, so yeah, again, I was just messing with these goblins and doing all this stuff while I was in the goblin camp. I found this goblin who had an owlbear cub, and she like wanted me to make a bet where I could chase this owlbear around. They call it chicken chasing, but they don't have a chicken anymore because the owlbear cub ate it. So now they have to use the owlbear cub. They wanted me to chase it to a certain location, and I like made a bet of like 300 gold. Yeah, I'll do that for you. But then I went up to the owlbear and I used my animal handling skills to convince it to walk where I wanted it to walk. So I just was like, yeah, I'm your friend. Don't be afraid of me. And then it wasn't really afraid. It was just really angry. But I was like, no, please just walk over to these goalposts, and I'm gonna get rich. And Carlac approved of that again, so I was happy I did that. Sent the owlbear over here. Goblin was kind of annoyed that they lost. I spoke to the owlbear, kind of talked to it. Was like, come back to my camp or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I want to do that, but we need to get rid of these goblins first. So I went over to this goblin who'd made the bet. Made a quick save in case I messed up the skill checks. She was kind of annoyed by this owlbear by now. And she tried to get out of the bet saying, you actually have to be a goblin for the rules to apply, and you're not a goblin, so you don't get to win anything. So I think I just either intimidated or persuaded her that you're going to give me my money. Um, and I think I just about passed that skill check. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, give me my money now. And then I think I spoke to her again. And I was like, yeah, I want the owlbear too. I'm taking it with me. And she was like, okay, take the damn thing. And it's going to show up at my camp now, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be a new friend for Scratch the dog to play with. I wandered around the camp some more and I ran into this weird, creepy priest guy. He seems to be some sort of religious zealot for one of the religions. This one was all about pain, this goddess of pain, where they seem to just like indulge in punishing themselves and punishing others, and that's what this goddess wants. And it seemed a bit weird. Probably shouldn't have done it, but I was like, okay, let me go through this little punishment ritual or whatever. I thought I might get some like pain resistance ability or something from it, and it turned out that that was possible. But also, I'm a bit concerned that I'm now sort of worshipping some like god of pain and punishment, and if that's gonna come back to be a problem for me later, maybe someone's gonna recognize that I'm a member of this cult or whatever. Maybe it's not even a like proper religion, and they're gonna be like weirded out by me and my character because we're part of this punishment cult. Uh, but basically, all you had to do was agree to this guy to take his little test or whatever and see how we endure punishment. And as Terry was like, "Oh yeah, I want to see that for sure." So I was like, "All right, we'll do it," and that put up Asterian's approval. And all you had to do really was stand near this wall and just let this guy beat you for a while you like screamed. And it's actually kind of messed up and demented, really. But this it is a dark fantasy game, like, so there should be like dark stuff in it like this. So we just stood here, let this guy beat us while we like screamed. You can't act like a badass and like just not say anything at all. But that didn't seem to be what would get me the bonus or whatever, because I was pretty sure I was gonna unlock some like pain resistance or something. And you do get an ability, but I'm not quite sure what it's called. Um, so I just kept passing these skill checks to cry out in pain. I was a bit concerned that this guy was actually gonna like kill my character because he didn't seem like he was gonna stop beating me. And it just kept going for more rounds than I was expecting. But I think this was the last one here where I passed this skill check. And then he was like, yeah, you're clearly a true believer or whatever. So he welcomed us into this cult or religion or whatever you want to call it. And then he bestowed the blessing of this goddess. I can't remember her name, Lovatar or something like that. He stowed that upon us, and that gave us like, I'm not sure if it's a permanent upgrade or ability, if that's always going to be on my character now. But it does something where when our health gets really low, we get like a boost to our defense or something like that. So yeah, the ability is there now. Yeah, let me see. Lovatar's Love or whatever it's called, and yeah, it's just about how if our health gets low, below a certain like threshold, then that ability will be activated. So it might come in useful. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, we found this guy being tortured over here by this goblin, and I thought that this prisoner might be able to tell us where Haslin the druid was, because he also got captured. So I managed to, actually I think I failed the skill check, so I did manage to talk my way through this, but I just had to fight this torturer goblin. Um, yeah, he wasn't gonna speak to me again, so I think I just sneak attacked him here. And then started a little fight with these goblins. I was a bit concerned the entire camp was going to attack me, but it seemed like only these guys were over here, and they were the only ones paying attention at the moment. So I managed to take them down pretty easily, and then I had a quick conversation with this guy. He was just an adventurer who broke into these ruins along with Haslin. They were looking for treasure or whatever, and lost artifacts and the usual stuff. And they've been told that these ruins were empty and that there was no one here, but clearly when they got here, the goblins were all over the place, and they just captured him and Haslin. And he tells us Haslin's being held in a place, I can't remember what it's called, but he just explained where he was, and it gave me a general idea of where to look for him. And then after I freed that guy, I decided I would go get Haslin. Stole all the stuff off the dead goblins, of course. And I was pretty happy that I'd sabotaged some more of them. Oh yeah, I went back to the priestess goblin first. I thought it was time just to take her out, because she's one of the goblin leaders. And since she's off hidden in this side room, no one's really going to come to help her if we take her down quick enough. So I just quickly set about attacking her. We put her down pretty quickly, and she didn't really get a chance to like shout for help or anything. So that was her put down, and I stole all the stuff she had on her body. Some keys to her personal like bedroom or whatever, and a lot of enchanted stuff, and this letter about Haslin being here. And it just again confirmed that they've got him locked up somewhere, and it just proved that he was here. So it made me feel like this was the right decision to side against these goblins at this point. Um, and then we went. I found the area where Haslin was captured. This like sort of prison area. I noticed a prison key over here in this table, but I couldn't seem to find a way to pick it up without alerting these goblins. Tried talking to them, but I didn't really get an opportunity to send them away anywhere. But eventually I found these goblins. They were over at a cell throwing stones at a bear. And I was pretty sure it was the druid, because the guy who'd been tortured, he mentioned him turning into a bear. So I was pretty sure it was him. And I tried to just like use the parasite, the mind flare parasites, to just convince them to leave him alone or whatever. I didn't seem to have any other options, so I just used that. Even though I don't like using that ability, because again, I'm pretty sure it's negatively affecting my character. Again, I'm not. I can't prove that, but I just have a bad feeling about it. So then we let the bear out, and I decided we'd just attack these goblins so that the bear was on our side. And Karlak approved. I was getting a lot of Karlak approval in this video, so I was just happy about all that, and everything I seemed to be doing to sabotage the goblins. Karlak seemed to approve of it, so that seemed to be the right thing to do. So they summoned this big spider, and they were trying to let these like wargs or wolves. They were trying to let them out of a cell nearby, and I don't think I was able to stop them before they did that. Two of the younger goblins, they were running away before we could attack them. Didn't really want to attack the children goblins because it didn't feel right, even though they are goblins and they probably would kill me. I just like, I'll let the children go. I could have non-lethaled them, but I just wasn't thinking at that moment. So I just decided I would take out what was closest to me, which was a spider and the other like goblins that were guarding this place. And we had the bear to help us, so that was pretty fun and useful. And I'm not sure if he's a party member, Haslin, or if we can recruit him later. But it would be cool if there was a guy who could turn into a bear just as a party member, because it seems pretty useful. So this fight lasted a little while, but eventually I managed to take them all down with the help of the bear guy. And I didn't do too badly in this fight, but I started getting messed up a bit towards the end, taking some like serious damage. But again, it wasn't too tough. I was a bit annoyed that there didn't seem to be a way that I could have done it non-lethally without raising the alarm. Because it's going to be a bit hard to sneak a bear out of a prison cell, I suppose. But once we wrapped up that fight, Hassan transformed back into himself, and we basically told him like the Emerald Grove's going to be under attack, and that this Minratha or whatever her name is, that she's going over there to attack it. And he quickly deduces that we've got one of the parasites in us, and he's offered to help us with that if we help him with the Emerald Grove. Again, a lot of people have been offered to help us so far, and none of them have really come through. So I kinda didn't believe him either that he was gonna be the one who was gonna save us. But I did just decide to go along with it because he seemed more reliable than everyone else that tried to help us so far, like that Goblin Priestess and Auntie Ethel and all those kind of characters. So I picked up the Priestess's key, of course, after I took out that Goblin lady. Came in here to her bedroom, ran into her bodyguard, and I kind of convinced her that I was supposed to be in here. Passed a pretty difficult skill check to be able to do that. Because I picked up a book or whatever off the priestess goblin, and it said there was some like secret moon glow tunnel or something that I could find near here, and it had instructions on how to open it. So I sent Aztarian to start robbing all her stuff. But then the bodyguard ran up and was like, "We've had a report of theft in the area. I don't know how you got that report when we're the only people in here, but I had to try to pass a deception check and completely failed that. And I didn't have any rerolls, so I just had to take out this Paloma or whatever her name is. She wasn't as hard as I thought she might be. She just looks scary because she's kind of big. But I managed to like take her out pretty simply. It wasn't that hard. Um, so yeah, it only took a couple of attacks really. I think Aztarian got a really good, serious bit of damage onto her here. Um, yeah, I think I used the offhand attack with him, and that did some serious damage to her. So yeah, she wasn't too bad to get past. I would have rather just talked my way through it, but sometimes you just run into these dice rolls that I don't want to reload for. And again, I don't want to save scum too much in this game. I'm only going to do it again, as I said, if like a character dies that I really can't stand that character died, then I'll reload. But other than that, I'll just try to roll with the punches and just accept whatever dice roll happens. So I basically robbed all the stuff in this area, had a quick lie in the bed because it was funny. And then I went into this tunnel that we've been reading about to find this night song item or whatever it is. I just saved before I went down here because I thought it could be dangerous and to lead to like a difficult area or something. So we came down into this area. We were going really deep underground, it seemed. And this kind of started reminding me of like the underground area in Legend of Zelda or in Elden Ring. There was a big Sophia River sort of area. So we got down here. The my party members started calling it the underglow or something like that. Anyway, it seemed like a pretty famous area. I robbed some stuff in this first part of it. Opened some like heavy skill check chests. I think I failed this a couple of times and had to re-roll. But I thought since we came down here, we might as well get something to show for it. And I think this was nice, like shiny helmet that I was like, this will look good on Carlac. So I gave it to Carlac because she really needed a different hat from Shadowheart. I didn't like that they had the same hat, and this helmet sort of suits Carlac, to be honest. Or at least I think she looks cool in it. And she had that new armor I'd given her as well, and it just seemed to work well together. Um, and then I found this other chest, and I think it had like some other armor or something in it too. It was pretty hard to get into as well. A lot of these chests had hard skill checks, but I found some nice armor in here that I think I gave to Asterium because it was like lightweight armor. Or I might have given it to Lizelle. Or actually, I think I wore this one actually because it was medium armor. Yeah, it wasn't that much better than the one I had on, but I fancied a change. And I think I liked the way that this armor looked, so I just equipped it on my character because there was a lot of red on this armor, and it just sort of went well with my red Tefling and the red horns and the red in my hair or whatever. And I just thought it looked like a cool bit of armor, so I equipped that one. And yeah, it looked pretty decent. I decided I was going to walk out here, but then this Minotaur started running in. I hadn't seen it out there for some reason, so I quickly pulled the lever again and closed this gate to make sure that thing stayed locked out there, because I thought we weren't really equipped to fight this guy just yet. And these big laser things were helping us fight it. I tried to fire some arrows at it, like through the gate, but of course that just didn't work at all. Uh, yeah, what was I doing here? I was trying to think of anything to cast on it that would work, but really the gate was just in the way and just impeding anything I was trying to do to it. But thankfully, the big laser weapons or whatever, they were just firing at it, and that completely took it down for us. Um, so then I opened the lever again to steal stuff off it, but I didn't really have anything to steal. And I quickly closed the gate again just in case any more showed up. Because it seemed like a pretty high level kind of area that I'll come back to later, and it was kind of getting me away from my main task of disrupting the Goblin camp and sabotaging them. So I eventually came back outside just to check around for anything else to do out here, and I noticed all these goblins were drinking and having a good time, and I was like, is there anything out here that I could maybe drop some of my poison into? So I was trying to select this big thing because I thought it was the like beer container or something. And I noticed this guy walking up to this, so I quickly saved before interacting with it, and it turned out that I could drop some poison into this like eel bucket or whatever. The reason I thought of this is because I played a lot of Shadow of Mordor, and you could poison the orcs their grog stash. So I think Larian maybe played that game as well, and they realized, yeah, we should be able to poison the goblins' alcohol because that would just be really funny. So I dropped the poison in there, used some sleight of hand or deception or whatever, um, just spoke to this goblin just to see if they would do anything. And I just told them to drink up and enjoy their beer, or whatever. They didn't seem to be going down or anything, so I ran around for a little minute, just trying to check if anything was going to happen to them. And then eventually this little cutscene played, and as Tyrion, for some reason, he was being questioned to make a little speech. And obviously, I can't let him drink the poison because he's gonna get like poisoned himself and go down. So he made a little speech to the Absolute, a little toast to her, and then I think I had him use some sleight of hand to like pour out some of the beer, or to like completely pour it out and pretend he was drinking it. I think I luckily passed that with some plus ones and stuff. So he just spilled it on the ground and pretended that he was drinking it. And then the goblins, of course, they all took it, and then like I don't know, 15 or 20 of them just fell over and died. So we completely wiped them out. This goblin, of course, she was like, "Hey, you're the only new people here. You did this clearly." And I was like, "If I poisoned it, why would I still be standing about? I would have left ages ago or whatever." And so we managed to convince them that way that this wasn't us, even though it's still pretty obvious that it was us. So yeah, a lot of good work done today sabotaging these goblins. I still think I have to kill that other big red goblin guy. I'm probably going to do that in the next video and then go find Minratha or whatever her name is. I'm probably butchering her name. I'm so bad at all the names in this game. But yeah, we'll probably go find her in the next video. After we fight this big red goblin guy, we'll do him first and then take out Minratha. She's the last like main goblin leader, I think. So yeah,